everyone, my name is Chloe and welcome to the start of another weekly reading vlog. So today is Monday and I have two things to tell you about already because I did wrap up the last vlog on Saturday, so Sunday and Monday, but it's Monday morning and I am going to tell you that I just read a 5-star. But first, I'm going to tell you the first book I read was Salt to the Sea by Rita Petty. So this book is about 4 young people, all with different stories and their journey as they get on the Wilhelm Gustloff, which is a boat that was taking refugees to a safe space. And so the first 2/3 of this book are all them trying to get on the ship. And one of them is a doctor, I can't remember, I think she's maybe Lithuanian. And then she's not a doctor, but she's a young girl who is like medically skilled. Then there's another young girl who is pregnant and she is Polish. And then there's a young man who is an art restorer and he has a secret that he is hiding. And then we also get the story of a German young man who is working with the Nazis. So the stories all intertwine, of course. And I went into this book expecting to have their more of their story on the boat, but that is not really what you get until the last third. And the first 2/3, I would say, is pretty slow going. It's really just getting to know the characters and getting to know their story and getting to know the relationships between them. And then once they get on the boat, it took off. Like, it was so good and so fast paced. But that first 2/3 was kind of hard. And as Rita Petty does, she has short chapters, which I love. But from the very beginning, it's like wham, bam, here's all 4 perspectives. So it does like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, or, it does them all so quick that I really felt like the first at least half, like I was like in a ping pong match where I was like, boom, 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 boom. Where do I look? What do I do? What's going on? And it was really like I had to reread the first chunk probably 6 times to even keep straight who's who, because it was just switching so fast that I feel like you couldn't really figure it out. And I love multiple perspectives. I love short chapters, but I feel like it needs to be done in a way where it's like you meet 1 or 2 and then you add 1 and then you add 1 and something a little more gradual or a slightly longer chapter so we get a little more insight to these people and their story and that kind of stuff. But it was good. And so if the last third would have been more of the book, I would love this. But instead I gave it a 3.5 stars. I definitely like Between Shades of Grey better, but this one was still good. And still, I had no idea about this ship and how hard people were working to get on the ship because, of course, they wanted to go to safety. And so, and then just again, did we not learn from Titanic? Why were there not enough lifeboats? I don't know, but the end was really sad. And I honestly was I don't think I'm going to get that emotional about this book because, the first 2/3 was so slow, but I did. So I still think Rita Petty has this way of writing stories that about topics that I have no idea about, and she just does it so darn well. So especially when she does it well, I guess is what I'm saying. And overall, thinking about that story, it really got me thinking about the people. I mean, this was fictionalized, but the people who actually lived this. So 3.5 stars on that. I buddy read that with Nicole from Who Picked This Book, and it was her first Rita Petty's, and I'm not sure what she she is not quite done with it yet, so I'm not sure what she thought, but it was fun reading with her. So then next I picked up Happiness for Beginners by Catherine Center. So you guys, this is a 5-star book for me, and I'm trying to think of something to say negative about it, and I really can't. And so I got on Goodreads. I'm not reading any other reviews because I don't want anybody to rain on my parade. So this book is about a woman named Helen, and Helen just got divorced. Her husband left her. And so she is just really wanting to start over kind of. And so she decides to go on this group backpacking adventure thing. And so she wants to go to get a tougher skin, to be harder, to be, just to be tougher because she's kind of a klutz. She's kind of just portrayed as this kind of small, weak girl. And she's no, I'm going to go on this. I'm going to get a thicker skin. I'm going to get tough. Let's do this. I'm going to prove to myself I can do this. And so I really like her wanting to do something for herself like that. and kind of channeling herself into something. I don't know. I just thought that was an interesting premise. Well, she's really excited to go until she finds out her brother's best friend is also going. So Jake is his name, and he has had a crush on her forever. And it's not like some secret, unrequited thing. She, like, does not like her little brother at all. He's quite a bit younger than her, and she's always thought he's just super annoying, and so is Jake, and she's like never really been nice to him. And so she's like, gosh darn it, you're gonna go, like, this is, I'm gonna be annoyed the whole time and whatever. So they go, and there's a lot of caretaking going on in this book because Jake is a Harvard grad. He's an EMT. He is one of those guys that knows how to do everything. And he is just such a sweet cinnamon roll. And so, like, at first she's falling. She doesn't want to, like, slow down the group. So she's not talking about blisters and, like, that kind of stuff. So he's really having to take care of her. And he does it in a way that is so sweet and so great. But anyway, the book goes on, and as she starts to fall for him, of course, things change because he is, like, dating this other girl that is on the trip with them. And this girl is, like, perfect. She's wonderful. She's gorgeous, and she's a really good friend to Helen, and she's just awesome. So she's like, I can't be mad about this, whatever. And so the story goes on. Jake also has a disability that is really interesting to read about. I thought it was really interesting. I'm not going to tell you what it is because it can be kind of a spoiler. But so caretaking really goes both ways, and I really like that caretaking trope. So they're on this adventure. I also love, like, survivalist stuff. And yes, this is, like, self-inflicted survivalist, but they are, like, roughing it. So that is going on. And then after that's over, they go back, and while they're there, like, I think her name was Wendy, the girl that he, like, started dating or whatever. And she just had, like, a very positive outlook on life and really helped Helen kind of have that positive outlook. She was talked about, like, at the end of every day, think of 3 things that went well, because, you know, just very, very, very true that if you focus on the negative, you'll kind of just keep seeing the negative. If you focus on the positive, you'll keep seeing the positive. And so she's like, think of 3 great things that happened today, or, you know, those kind of things. And I really want to make sure I'm doing that because especially in this season of life, it's really stressful. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of things that, like, I can't even make it up how, like, ungraceful this moving process has been for us. But there's also been a lot of really, really great things. And so I really want to, like, that really just inspired me to stop right there and think of 3 great things that happened today or whatever, and really, like, start seeking out all of the positive in all of life. And so I thought that was great. Jake also kind of helped Helen see her little brother in a different way and see the good parts about him, because yes, he's, like, got annoying parts. He's definitely, like, a grown but still very immature man, and yeah, he had a lot of really great qualities. He was trying really hard. So he helped her just in general be more positive. And she's like, wait, I came on this trip to have a thicker skin, to be tougher. And here I am, like, I'm emotional about everything. I'm, like, just this big softie. So they go back, and she does kind of see Duncan in a different way. Duncan's her brother. And the ending is a bar mitzvah for her high school, like her first love, and her best friend in high school slept together, cheated together, and had this baby. So she had agreed to go to the bar mitzvah, and she was like, I don't want to go. And so she ends up taking her brother. And the rest of that is just really, really fun. Duncan and Helen were also raised by their grandmother. And I really like stories like that because that is something that happens, and I feel like it's not talked about quite enough. You don't really know why until the very end of the book, and I thought that was good. They had another brother that was lost, so definitely trigger warning for death of a child. It doesn't go too much into that except just to tell you that that happened. And so I loved all of that. I loved the grandparent relationship. I loved the sibling relationship. I loved Jake. I thought he was so sweet. I love the caretaking. I love the survivalist. She also has, like, this little dog that is, like, hates everyone and is just a terrible little dog, and yet she kind of loves her anyway. And she's, you know, and Duncan really loved her and took care of her. And so overall, it was a great book. It was so good. So she wrote this in 2015. So I don't know where it lies like on her backlist, but I think it was so good. I have yet to like find a Catherine Center I don't really like. So if you have not read this one and you have read some of her newer stuff and like it, definitely go back and check it out, especially if you like any of those things that I mentioned. So 5 stars on that. I love 5-star reads, you guys, but I'm also so nervous after them because I'm like, nothing's going to live up to that. So I think I'm going to switch genres completely. We'll see. I don't really know. I'll check in later. Hey everyone, it is Tuesday and it's already time for another update. And unfortunately, you guys, I was talking about like 5 stars, not being able to like follow up, whatever. I read the most terrible book afterwards. So I read Control Girl by Shannon Popkin. And this is something, I can't remember the subtitle. I don't have the book on me right now, but it's like Lessons on Surrendering Control from 7 Women in the Bible. So as you guys know, there's house stuff going on. Things are really crazy. I am naturally like driven to control, I think. And this situation is proving to be very, very much out of my control. And that makes me really stressed and anxious. And furthermore, like even the things that are in our control, I'm like letting Jeremy do because I have to stay here with the kids because we're moving like 2 hours away. So I am not physically seeing any of these houses. Like just I feel very like helpless in this situation. So it's breeding a lot of anxiety. Some probably helpful to like having me release the reins a little bit. Some not helpful. But anyway, so I read Anxious for Nothing last week, I think. And now I'm reading this Control Girl. And I don't even know, you guys. I don't want to like super rant about this book because I think it has an audience. That audience is just an uber conservative Christian audience. And this woman, so the way the book is structured is it's like there's like a verse or something to kind of think about in regards to whatever the topic is, and then there's like a couple little journal prompts at the end. But so what she's talking about, like the 7 different women in the Bible, I think are really helpful. And like there were bits in there that I was like, okay, yes, like their situations are far more dire. The anxiety, like I need to just hand this over to God, you know, all those, like those parts are so helpful. And like even thinking about like parenting and how much I want to like protect them and how much I want to have control, but really I have to like admit that I don't have control, but that's a whole nother thing. But so that part was really good. But you guys, this chick is nasty. Like if I could take out all of her personal commentary, then maybe this book would be good. But with her personal commentary, I am like, ew, this is disgusting. There's like fat phobia. There's a lot of discussion on like traditional gender roles and divorce and so much like, girl, freaking take off your judgy pants. Like she even at one point talks about like this anecdote about this woman who is staying in an abusive marriage, because like she filed for divorce and then thank God called her back and she is now staying in an abusive relationship because she is praying that God will change her so she can deal with it better. No. I'm sorry. Like I think having your opinions on things is fine and you're entitled to that. And I just do not think it is responsible in any way, shape, or form to advocate that people stay in abusive relationships for the sake of faith. I don't think God wants that for us. And I think that it is just very misleading and very just like, and her judgment on divorce and things like, I just don't throw stones, chick. Don't throw stones. And like I said, the fat phobia and just all of the things that I'm like, and just the gender roles. It's like, this is not 1950s. Oh, like, so again, if this book took out, like if it was written by somebody else and took out this girl's BS, I would say 4 or 5 stars, like really helpful. But because of I just don't even want to talk about it anymore. Like it is so, don't pick this up, you guys. Don't pick this up unless you are a very, 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 very conservative Christian that wants to read about that. But that's not me. So I guess I got a little bit of good from it, but like it just made me like, ew, gross. So now there's nowhere to go but up. So that's a good thing, I guess. But yeah, I will check in when I finish something else. So it is later in the week, and I have finished Waiting to Surface by Emily Listfield. So this book was the last one on my like lowest rated on my bookshelves project thing that I was trying to do. So this one I actually gave 3.5 stars. I enjoyed it. So this one is about a woman who her and her husband are like in the process of a divorce, I think. He went to Florida. He's an artist. He went to Florida, and then she gets a call that says like, hey, he's missing. I don't know if he's dead. I don't know what's going on. The cops think that he like waded out into the sea and died, potentially by suicide. And so they don't really know what's going on. So then she's got I think 6-year-old daughter or a young daughter. And the daughter really like does not react well, of course, so she starts going to therapy and doing things that I think are really, really healthy, and I like that portrayal. And she also starts like rebelling against her mom because she's like, why didn't you know? Why didn't you tell him not to go swimming? And all of those kind of things. And I just thought that was a really interesting and kind of real to life explanation of what was going on. So then there's kind of two storylines going on in this book, and I think that's where some of the complaints lie, and like some of my complaints lie is Sarah, our main character. She works for this magazine that is very like cutthroat, and you never know if you're gonna have a job one day to the next, and it's almost like a like Devil Wears Prada kind of like women's fiction chick lit book in that sense. But then there's this mystery of what happened to the husband. He had another woman down there. His art career, his alcoholism, his depression, and his relationship with his brother, and like different things like that are explored as far as the kind of dark past of her husband and what potentially happened and how she navigates that, especially with her 6-year-old daughter. So I feel like that is one of my biggest complaints, is like that was almost like thrillery. And then there's this like chick lit women's fiction storyline that was with her and her best friend and a colleague who is also a really good friend. And that storyline, they're trying to start a new kind of branch of the magazine and things. So there is a little bit of disconnect there. However, I enjoyed both parts, and I think if they were done separately, it would have been really great. The other complaint that I kind of have is our main character, and I think because we were seeing both sides of her, both the like professional side as well as the wife mother side, she was a little hard to get to know and a little hard to like connect with, just because you weren't really sure what we were supposed to get from her. Is she this grieving wife? Is she this like give it all for your child mother? Is she is she a go-getter at work? You never really kind of know. So I think there could have used more character development in Sarah, our main character. I thought the friends were great for what they were, side characters. I thought that development was pretty good. And then, like I said, if the two stories were different, or, if one was maybe the focus and then the other was just kind of background, I feel like it could have worked better. But as it is, it's kind of pretty much equal parts, those two stories. And the interesting thing about this book is it is somewhat autobiographical of the author. And I think it's mostly the magazine stuff. It's single mom living in New York City. I think it's mostly that. But I think this is just, it was an interesting book. So I'm giving it 3.5, more on the 3 side than the 4 side. But I was pleasantly surprised. So that is what I have finished, and I'm not sure what I'm going to pick up next. Today's July 1st, and I did finish this like this morning, but I'm going to count it as a June finish because I can. So that is everything. I will check in when I finish something else. Because I felt like in that last clip, I was like, there's something I wanted to say. Well, what I wanted to say is we got a friggin' house, and we are past the point where we can back out. Like everything worked out really well. Everything worked out well. So we are moving in August for sure. So I am starting to pack up some stuff because that's a month and we have so much like just stuff everywhere. I don't know how it's going to work, but yeah, so it feels so good. Thank you to everybody who's been praying for it, thinking about it, all of that kind of stuff. Like, just thank you. We have a house. We'll be finally settled through all of this mid-August. So that feels really good. Also, I know I have talked about my fear of vomit before on this channel, and don't worry, I'm not going to show vomit. I'm not going to even talk about it extensively. But I do think that God works in funny ways, because I think he gave me my second child to get me over that, because she threw up yesterday for the third time in 6 weeks. And so I called the doctor and he's like, some kids just throw up more times than others, like, and it's just a one and done thing. So some things she got something, didn't love it, threw up. And like, thankfully I'm feeling more and more okay about it. So if it is a food trigger, I gave her the exact same breakfast this morning. So time will tell, which makes me nervous, but not the same like gut wrenching anxiety. So exposure therapy, I guess, works. I don't know. God knows what he's doing. Hopefully things go smoothly and nobody throws up, but we'll see. So that is it. I just wanted to share that exciting bit of news. And that's it. Hey everyone, it is Saturday and I just finished Where It All Lands by Jenny Wexler, and you guys, I'm having feelings, and like, you guys know that you have to make me sad to make me happy, and this one definitely did that. So I think I'm going to give it 4.5 stars. I haven't written my review or anything. I literally just finished it, but I loved it. Like, so this is about this girl. Her dad is one of the coaches for the Jets football team, the NFL team. So they move a lot, I guess. They are constantly kind of being traded to different teams, or, I mean, coaches aren't traded, but, they are moving to different teams. And so she's like so sick of it. And so she goes to this school and meets these two guys, and they are best friends. So it's Drew and Shane, and they have grown up next to each other. Drew is kind of Mr. Popular. His dad is a really famous music producer, and so people kind of kiss up because of who his dad is. And Drew and Shane live next door to each other. Shane is kind of geeky and not like, he's super, super talented in music, but people really pick on him. So that thread of music is going through this a lot, because Drew and Shane both are musicians, and our main character, I'm spacing on her name right now, Stevie, she is also a musician. So that thread of music is definitely through there. But so she meets these two best friends, and these guys, they have this thing that they always flip a coin. So simple decisions, because they are like brothers. They're so close, they're like brothers. And so they fight over stuff and whatever. So they make these decisions via a coin flip. So they both are like, whoa, Stevie's kind of looking good, and they're both really interested. So they flip a coin to see who can ask her out. And then the book is told in dual timelines of if it was heads or if it was tails, and who she would kind of end up with, or if it even mattered who asked her out. And it was so good. So that premise sounds really fun, really sweet, really cute. Well, the book starts at a funeral, and you know that one of the kids have died. And they're all, I think, like 17, 18. They're nearing the end of their high school career, and one of them has died. You don't know who. You don't know what happened. You don't know which storyline. Well, you do know which storyline it's in. So, really, really interesting. And then the end is just so sad, you guys. And I think, so reading a couple reviews, I was reading a couple reviews earlier, trying not to spoil myself, but reading a couple reviews anyway to see like if everyone was loving this like I did. And some people don't like that there's not really a clear ending in the end of which path actually happened. Was it actually heads or tails? And for me, like, I'm normally like, I hate ambiguous endings. I want to know. But with this one, I felt like it worked. Like, I don't really care which one was accurate, and I thought it was real, or like real to life. Accurate's not the right word, but I don't really care. So, I definitely like was tearing up. I had one storyline that I preferred over the other, and somebody I wanted her to end up with, and it was just so good, you guys. This comes out, I think, July. It's coming out this week, I think. By the time you see this, it'll be coming out the 6th or the 10th or something like that. I'm not exactly sure, but it's coming out soon. I would highly recommend it. The only complaint I really have is there's definitely some miscommunication tropes, especially in one of the storylines, but I don't have like, that's not a complaint for me, because in YA, I feel like that happens. Like, that's what happens when you're 16, 17, 18 years old. You're trying to figure out how to communicate. You don't necessarily go around it the most mature way. So I don't really fault it for that. But I do think there's one of the guys that makes some bad decisions that she kind of, that just, I don't know. I just didn't like to read about it. It's kind of a silly trope, and he was not my favorite. So all that to say, this is a really, really, really good book, and I would definitely recommend you pick it up. So today is Saturday, July 3rd, and you guys, this has been a week. It has been a week. So As you saw, we got a house, or as I told you earlier, we got a house. However, things are really up in the air now, and I can't really say a whole lot more about that. There's just some stuff going on legally with this house, and so it is a nightmare, you guys. It is a nightmare, and everybody is wishing we would have not gotten into this situation, but we are in it, and so things are really up in the air, and I probably won't say anything about it. As you can see, we're like in progress of moving, boxing stuff up, and so we're not sure. We're not sure of anything, so I don't even know. I don't know, but I'm gonna try to just keep making content until I can't anymore, and I'm trying to get some stuff done. So regardless, you guys won't notice when we do actually move or what actually happens. But when it's all said and done, I'll let you know how it went. So that, and then we have also had sick kids this week. So Annie, she was sick, and then now Ainsley has a really bad like head cold, and so it's 4th of July weekend, and our town is the biggest town in the area, and they do nothing for 4th of July. So there are towns surrounding us that do some different celebration things. One is having a celebration all day today, but we decided just to kind of lay low because of Ainsley being sick. So then tomorrow, another town is having one all day, so maybe we'll do that. I don't really know. My point is that I don't think we're going to be having anything super exciting going on, but I don't know that I'll be doing a ton of reading either. So I'm going to end the vlog here. Happy 4th if you celebrate it, if you're American. I hope you guys are doing something great, but be safe, please. Fireworks are just so anxiety provoking, so please be safe. I hope you have a great time, and thank you so much for watching.